Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, take the discus now off. Spoiler, that's the first news story. But anyway, welcome to twitch.tv/Ice Cream Plus. My name is Graham Day, and that man hiding in a brew is the man we call Baby. Gulp.
I just finished that, so I definitely took that at the wrong time.
Anyway, welcome to twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads. We are Ice Cream. This is The Scoop, your daily dose of news from the world of video games. We bring you the biggest and the best and the breaking stories around video games because we are the UK's #1 video game podcast, even though we do say so ourselves. Anyway, we are live on twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads like we are each and every single weekday at 10 a.m. ish. If you're in the chat, please feel free to jump in with comments, just like this guy did. This guy right here, you can see him on your screen there. Yeah, that's Enix. Good morning, yo mis my bromies. I mean, feel free to add different comments. You don't have to all say yo mis my bromies. You could say something. Good morning though. Good morning. Yeah, but please, if you are watching, feel free to get involved in the chat. We turn this live streamed broadcasted content into an on-demand podcast that we upload to YouTube a little bit later on in the day. So that's the video podcast, but we also have an audio version that's available on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, and Google Play. And whilst everyone on demand gets to pause, fast forward, and rewind, they don't get to speak directly to Bibby as he has a drink of his brew right as they ask him questions. Please feel free to get involved. It's important that you do because you are the voice of everyone listening on demand. And if you are listening or watching on demand, good morning, good evening, whatever it is. Apologies, my window is open, so you will get background traffic noises because it's warm innit. But yeah, Bib, Mr. Golfman. So tell me, run me through what did. I want to say a day, but can't remember what day it was. Oh, is it Wednesday? Is it Tuesday? What did Tuesday? It's Wednesday. What did Wednesday evening bring for you? I can't remember what day we're on. It's lockdown life. What did you get into last night? Is what I was trying to say, but without saying it. So plain.
I came in from golf, and I watched TV for a little bit, and then I watched you play some games for a little bit.
Yeah.
While I was in bed because I was knackered.
Nice. So for those of you that missed it, myself and my better half streamed for the first time. Well, she joined me on stream for the first time. She didn't want to be the focal point. I was trying to get her to sit in the stream, and she's like, I'm not talking. You can do the work. Basically, for those of you who missed it, we played the first 3 chapters. We're just starting chapter 4 of Mafia 2. 2K UK, the lovely people at 2K provided us with a code which we are using. So we played through Mafia 2. After that, we might jump into Mafia 3, and then a little bit later in the year, August, when the remade first one comes out, we'll play through that then. But we jumped through it. It was nice. Daniel got some time on stream. We usually play through single-player games without having it on stream, so it's kind of like if we're playing through single player games and we can stream the content, we might as well merge the two together. So that's what we started doing last night. So yeah, if you tuned in, thank you for being there. No, Bib did dropped his 22-month sub on the channel as well, yo.
Yes, I did.
Damn. Enix says I need to find a MacBook somewhere. Okay. Yeah.
I just found it randomly.
Yeah, me too. I need to find a MacBook somewhere. A couple of quid as well, potentially. We will see. Does that relate to something? Let me know. But anyway, yes, if you are here, like I say, please feel free to say hello in the chat. I mean, you could even, when I say hello, you could even do this. What is it? What does that say, babe?
Oh, hello.
There we go. Exclusive emotes in the chat. But let's jump into the news. I've already teased it by having the discussing now on screen already. And you may have seen it if you've seen our tweets that we've put out on @IceCreamUploads on Twitter. But the first news story is... I'm showing it on screen again. The first news story is... There we go. Written by Tom Ivan for VGC. And the headline says, Rockstar parent company Take-Two plans to release 93 games by March 2025, and half of the titles are from existing franchises and half are new IP. Oh. So Rockstar parent company Take-Two has said that the strongest development pipeline in its history includes 93 full games currently planned for release over the next 5 years. During an earnings call on Wednesday, President Karl Slatov said that the titles are scheduled for release by Take-Two's fiscal year 2025, which ends in March 2025. Of the 93 titles, 63 are core gaming experiences, including 15 platform extensions of titles, he said. 17 are mid-core or arcade-style experiences, and 13 are casual experiences. 47 of these 93 titles are from existing franchises, and 46 are from new intellectual properties. In terms of platforms, 72 of the 93 titles are planned for console, PC, and/or streaming, including 7 that will also be available on mobile, and 21 are planned specifically for mobile. With respect to the business models, 67 of the 93 games that are required to be purchased 67 of the 93 games are required to be purchased, and 26 are free to be played. Slatov added, note that these figures reflect a snapshot of our current pipeline as it stands today. It's likely that some of these titles will not be developed to completion, and we will undoubtedly be adding new titles to our slate. During a Q&A session following Take-Two's prepared remarks, CEO Strauss Zelnick declined to confirm if the 93 upcoming titles include a new Grand Theft Auto game. However, Slatov said the release schedule includes games from all of the company's publishing labels, including Rockstar. Grand Theft Auto 6 is Rockstar's next game, but remains in early development, according to a recent report into working practices at the company. Despite having many titles in development, Zelnick said on Wednesday that Take-Two's current business year, ending in March 2021, will be a light new release year. Games scheduled for release this fiscal year include Mafia Trilogy for PS4, Xbox One, and PC, which we started playing last night, XCOM 2 Collection, Borderlands Legacy Collection, and Bioshock the Collection for Switch on May the 29th. Can we get more collections, please? The Outer Worlds for Switch on June the 5th, Disintegration for Xbox One, PS4, and PC on June the 16th, PGA Tour 2K21, chill out, babe, calm down, for PC, consoles, and Stadia on August 21st, and WWE 2K Battlegrounds for unspecified platforms this fall. So this is a light year. There's still a decent amount there. Yes, there is a lot of collections within there, but it's still a good amount of year. But anyway, Rockstar will also continue to support GTA Online and Red Dead Online with new content throughout the year. Take-Two provided updated shipment figures for several key titles on Wednesday, including Grand Theft Auto 5, 130 million copies, Red Dead Redemption 2, 31 million copies, Borderlands 3, 10 million copies, and The Outer Worlds, 2.5 million copies. Whew. So, quite a lot to unpack there, babe. Where should we begin?
The 26 free games, they've got to be mobile games, surely, aren't they?
Unless they're throwing their hat into the free-to-play ring, which, yeah. So where are the numbers? There's so many numbers. I can't see the 26 free. Oh, there we are. With respect to business models, 67 of the 93 games that are required to be purchased, and 26 are free-to-play. Yeah, I imagine. So they've said 21 are planned specifically for mobile. You have to feel those. If not 100%, 90% of those are free to play because it's mobile. There may be some experiences like in the past we've had. Did we have like Liberty City Stories and GTA 3 on mobile, which were full paid games? I mean, it's whether they can get the likes of Vice City. I don't know if that's already on mobile, or San Andreas on mobile. Maybe they found a way to squash those down enough to get those on mobile. If that's the case, then you can see those being paid experiences, but you have to feel the majority of those 21 are going to be free to play, which are free on mobile, which then opens up 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 maybe games that potentially could be free to play outside of that. Looking at their list, so 17 are mid-core or arcade style experiences, 13 are casual experiences, and 47 are from existing franchise, 46 are from new IP. So we've got 15 platform extensions, 17 core or arcade experiences, and 13 casual experiences. You have to feel, okay, core, arcade, casual. Maybe these are some of the free-to-play things, potentially. But what do they mean by platform extensions? What does that mean?
Yeah.
Because you got, if there's an extension from GTA 6, then that could be a free-to-play add-on thing.
Well, this is for the next 5 years, isn't it? So Is 93 titles? I mean, my maths is terrible at the best of times, so let me just get the calculator out. So 93 divided by 5
18.6.
is, yes, well done, mate. You
Uh,
definitely got there before me.
uh,
So 18 titles a year.
I'd already tweeted that saying 93 titles by 2025. That's eight. That's over 18 a year. I worked it out about 10 minutes ago.
Fair enough. But yeah, that's like we'll round it up to 19. So it's 19 titles a year. That's a lot.
Yeah. The thing is, they did say some will drop off, so some won't be delivered in that. So 93. Let's say there's a 10% drop off. There could be more, there could be less. They also did say that they will be taking new games on board, so you kind of have to feel, well, if some games are dropping off and you could then go, oh, new game, or oh, new idea, which will start developing, they might end up around the same place. But let's just say, okay, we'll take 10% off. We've got about 80, 85 games still within that sort of period. It's still a lot of games, and this only ends in March 2025. It's not even to the end of the year, March 2025, and we're already in May 2020, so it's not it's less than 5 years now, so that's a lot of games. Vice City is on mobile already, isn't it? Or at least I've seen it on Google Play, unless that's for Stadia. No, it could be. I know they put some out. I can't remember how far they went down the line. It could be a case of Vice City, because I know GTA San Andreas was like Vice City on steroids. San Andreas, I mean, a lot of people have a lot of affection for Vice City. I do, particularly because of soundtracks and things like that, but GTA San Andreas was just a step up. But then again, I don't know. There you go. Jordan says you can get San Andreas on mobile as well. So maybe it's not the fact that it has better visual fidelity. Maybe it's just the engine and the systems that they've developed for PS3, obviously. So maybe they can scale those down to work on mobile phones. Not so much GTA 4. I mean, I'd be surprised if they can get GTA 4. GTA 4 couldn't even load on a PS. Was that PS3? It was PS3, wasn't it? Or they were PS2. Oh yeah, I'm gonna say GTA 4 on PS3 couldn't even load without spending 6.5 weeks in the load screens. I remember that. So
yeah. But there's one thing that I did want to point out on this as well, is that the PGA Tour that's going to be coming out, it didn't state that it was going to be on the Switch in this article, which it most certainly is. So keep an eye out for that one.
All right, chill.
Sorry, mate. I'm just excited. You know what I mean? I'm not a mouthpiece for the company. I just enjoy that game. Well, I enjoyed the 3 leading up to it. So yeah, I just want to be it, because there is no golf sims on the Switch. There is a lot of arcade ones, but there is no golf sims on there. So this is the first one that's being put on there. So hopefully it'll be decent.
It's so much to go at in this though, because you've got things like that. You've got things like PGA Tour 2K21 for consoles, PC, and Stadia.
Well, they're the heavy hitters, aren't they? You expect that.
But like, so trying to think ahead, what do we expect is coming? They've got collections. So the Mafia Trilogy is a collection, the XCOM 2 collection, Borderlands Legendary Collection, Bioshock Collection. They're all collections, obviously, it says in the name. The Outer Worlds is it's not a collection, but it's a port. It's a game coming to the Switch. Disintegration, I'm assuming that's new. PGA Tour is new. WWE 2K Battlegrounds will be new when that comes out as well later on in the year. So there's a mixture there. They are using old IP to cash in, as you would expect them to do at the end of a generation. You don't want to play your hand and build something new that's going to come out and then get a short shelf life because everyone jumps to a completely different setup. Understandable. But, like, so 93 though, we're going to have the NBAs in there, NBA 2K, well, the 2Ks in there, should I say? And I always say the 2Ks, even though the company is 2K, which is kind of a bit confusing. But like NBA 2K, WWE 2K, what are the other 2Ks now? I've forgotten.
Well, I'm just looking at the list right towards the very bottom. That chunk of games that are coming out, they're all 2K games. So XCOM, Mafia, Borderlands, Bioshock, 2K Battlegrounds, PGA Tour 2. So you expect a new NBA 2K to be put in there, but it doesn't mention any Rockstar games as well. It obviously mentions Grand Theft Auto Online and Red Dead Online. They're going to be continued on with, but does that leave room for Bullet? Does it leave room for Manhunt? Because Take-Two is the umbrella company. They're the big bosses, aren't they? They're the big boys. They're the parent company. That's the word I'm looking for. They're the parent company. And you have things like Rockstar and 2K all underneath them. So this is only showing really a slice of the 2K games, and then a very small part about the Rockstar games. What else have they got up the sleeves from the other sense of the companies?
Yeah, that's where you all. always find it kind of weird having these calls, because they obviously have an obligation to their investors, to their shareholders, to have calls to kind of give a state of play. But what we spoke about the other week, it's such a weird thing, because you have to kind of tell the world your plans, but you're not telling the world, you're telling your investors. But it's on a publicly open call. It's like to say, yeah, this is all the stuff that we're working on, but they can't say anything that hasn't been announced, because that will damage their shareholders going forward. It kind of seems like almost a counterintuitive process, and then I know, no doubt it will be for business reasons in terms of transparency and things like that. There will be reasoning behind it. Obviously, I don't know. I don't care enough to go and find that bit out. But yeah, it does seem bizarre. But yeah, that's why we won't have any. If they are working on a bullet and it hasn't just got to the point where it's been officially announced, if they start talking about it now, that will weaken their potential like official announce, because an official announce usually gives you a spike in share price. Oh, big news, everyone invest. So if it just gets mentioned on an earnings call, it will have a little fizzles rather than a spike. So then when they do announce it later on, it'll spike a little, but it's already had the wind taken out of its sails. That's why things being leaked is a bad thing, because you not only hurt marketing plans, you hurt investment potential in a business. You damage their bottom line by leaking stuff. So yeah, I mean, there is, like you say, no bully, no GTA stuff. There's rumoured, so they did ask specifically about GTA, but there's nothing there. Nothing about any additional content in Red Dead or anything like that. Whether that will be ported in any sort of collection over next year to the new consoles or so on. I think that's one thing. Like, so 93 titles, that's 18 games a year. One thing me and Bib were talking about before we went live though is, what does 18 games look like? Is 18 titles in terms of the brand IP NBA 2K, or is 18 NBA 2K PS4, NBA 2K PS5, NBA 2K PC, NBA 2K Switch, NBA 2K last gen? I did PS4, but let's say Xbox One's in there as well, and then Xbox Series X kind of thing. So
I don't think they're going to count them as one SKU, do you? If they know they can spread them out and say they've got 96 games, whereas realistically one game on 6 platforms is 6 different SKUs. They're not going to do that, are they?
Yeah, it can't be that. I mean, I'm trying to work out the maths in my head. It can't be based on SKUs, because if NBA, let's say NBA's 5 SKUs, WWE's been missed this year, but let's say it comes back next year, and that's 5 SKUs as well. That's 10 games, so that's half of their games for the year. So that would...
Battlegrounds comes out, then that's going to be 4 SKUs, isn't it? Because you expect that to be on Xbox. Well, could it be one of them ones that overlap? So you're going to get PS4, Xbox Series 1X, then you're going to get Xbox One, PS4, Xbox Series 1X, PS5, Nintendo Switch, Google Stadia. That's 6 on just that game before they even bring out a main title, WWE 2K21. That's just for a side spin-off game. Then next year, are they going to bring out the WWE 2K21 on all 6 platforms again, because they are going to have to look after the PS4 and Xbox One for at least 2 years.
Looking at John's comment, Xbox Series 1X. I heard you saying Xbox Series 1X, and I'm thinking, that shows you how shit of a name it is, because Bibby knows what he's on about, and he's still saying it wrong, kind of thing. Pick a real name. Good morning, Rise. Just jumping by before I go, can we safely say that there will be a few big games, and then they may release an absolute load on mobile? They have
that's inevitable, I think.
The 21 are planned specifically to be mobile games out of the 93, and 17 or whatever it was, or 7 that are console games that will be moving over to mobile as well. But sorry, anyway, I jumped in your stride there.
It's all right. It's all right. So we've got 6 SKUs that are potentially coming out for one game for the 2K Battlegrounds. Times that then by NBA and then Madden and then anything else that decides to come out around that. So that could be 6 consoles getting looked after for one game. So that's potentially 6 SKUs. That's a lot of games around one franchise. That could be bulking these numbers out. I agree that a lot of them will probably be in mobile as well. Or was it 24 you said, or 21? That'll potentially be mobile. Then you've got a load of free-to-play ones, which I doubt are going to be mainstay games. They're going to be them type of mobile games that are potentially riddled with microtransactions and energy meters, so that they're not going to be AAA titles. Either they're just going to be time-sensitive games or whatever they call them.
Well, just looking. So let's say NBA. Let's say they're all 6. NBA, Madden, let's say we'll have GTA 6 in this timeline as well. So GTA 6.
Do you reckon GTA 6 will be on PS4 and Xbox One?
Potentially, we'll just put it roughly anyway, because there'll be some mobile bits in there. We're already at 18 titles here, and we've only actually no. Let's get rid of that. I'm gonna start again. So we'll have 6 for NBA, but that's 2020, 2021, 22, 23, 24, 25. So 6 times 5. So NBA is already 30 of that. So we'll add another 30 for WWE. 30 plus 30, obviously 60. So that's it. We're over halfway there. So it can't be for SKUs, because you'd add another 6 for GTA. You'd add another 6 for.
Sorry, it's meant to be 7 because I completely forgot about Steam.
Well, there we go. So.
So yeah, it's.
I think we'll.
It's meant.
Stop crunching those numbers then, because the fact that we're at 60 there, it definitely can't be SKUs that we're talking about. So if they're talking about full individual titles with multiple SKUs, that's what we're talking about. 93 individual titles. You also have the 2K golf game. Yeah, I mean that's included in the games that are coming out towards the end of the year. So this bit here. Game schedule for the release this fiscal year include the Mafia Trilogy for PS4, Xbox One and PC, XCOM 2 Collection, the Borderlands Legacy Collection and Bioshock Collection for Switch on May 29th, the Outer Worlds for Switch on June the 5th, Disintegration for Xbox One, PS4 and PC on June the 6th, PGA Tour 2K21 for consoles on PC and Stadia on August 21st, and WWE 2K Backgrounds for unspecified platforms this fall. So even with all of those considered, that surely would be pushing quite a long way up to the 93. So you would assume we're talking SKUs here. So we have 93, not SKUs, we're not talking SKUs, we're talking individual products, titles, brands with multiple SKUs across different formats. So, okay, with that in mind then, I mean, the easiest way we could say, that's 60 games just for like NBA and WWE, essentially, around 60 games. That kind of, we know we're not talking about SKUs here, because 47 of those 93 titles are from existing franchises. We're already at 60 at that point, so it definitely can't be talking about SKUs, because we're already 13 over there. So yeah, long story short, which we know, we're just confirming it by going through the maths, is that 2K are bringing out, or they're planning to bring out, a lot of games, which nails on the comment from Carl Slotov, who said this is the strongest development pipeline in Rockstar, Take-Two's history. I mean, if you've got 93 games, damn, bloody is. Battlegrounds is supposed to be on Stadia as well. Well, there you go, there's another format, so we'll call that 65. So, yeah. Enix says, the naming is terrible, talking about the Xbox Series 1, Xbox Plus, Ultra S. On top of that, they may have a lot of new remasters in the works. They mentioned a few of those there, but they'll probably have more going forward as well. Bibby mentioned Bully. There's probably going to be a Bully remaster or remake. Hope new 2K NFL is like the old Sega games they used to make. No, I reckon it will be one of the first big games announced on there. Yeah, excuse me. Rai says, I reckon it'll be one of the first big games announced on new consoles. I'm assuming we're talking about 2K NFL there. It's interesting though, because you look at the differences in companies. What was the company that we were talking about the other day that has dropped? Was it Capcom? Yeah, Capcom have dropped down from like 60 games to 30 games, and over the next year, but they're not even talking games, they're talking SKUs. They've dropped down from like 60 SKUs to 30 odd SKUs to about, 15, 18 SKUs in the next year?
Yeah.
That's SKUs. That's 3 to 4 games. Whereas Rockstar, we've covered it last year. I always say Rockstar. Take-Two were putting pressure on Rockstar to develop more games. We need to release more games. Whereas Rockstar were kind of holding back, saying, actually, the reason GTA is so successful is because we've got the time to put into it. If we start making more games, we won't have as much time. We might not be able to keep the success. So Capcom dropped, kind of keeping the same mentality as Rockstar in terms of release less but do a better job with them. But Take-Two as a whole have gone, no, we want to soldier on. So now you can see their strongest development pipeline in their history, as they say. And I mean, it shows 18 titles on average a year. And most of the ones for this year we already know about anyway because they're all collections and remasters. So okay, if you're gonna invest in a games company, now's the time. Invest in Take-Two after that. Damn. Capcom's been.
I agree with Jordan there.
Well, as in Capcom been releasing bangers since they went down. Modern Monster Hunter World, Resi, and Street Fighter. Yeah, exactly. I think that's the same sort of thing.
Quality, not quantity, in it. It should always be that.
100%. I agree. And it kind of shows though. I mean, you don't necessarily, if you churn out loads of stuff, then you just weaken yourself. I mean, let's take a different company, bring them into the conversation. Ubisoft. We're all hyped for Assassin's Creed Valhalla, but Ubisoft are a company that can churn out games annually. They're so big. I mean, not quite the biggest in Europe anymore. They got usurped by CD Projekt Red. Was it end of last week, start of this week? But they are so big that they can do a release every 12 months for a game on the scale of Assassin's Creed. But because they did that, the game didn't quite hit what people wanted it to. So you play something like Black Flag, you're like, yeah! And then it was like 12 months, 12 months, 12 months, 12 months. Like, I'm not bothered about playing through a similar experience. I want a new experience in the realm of this sort of game. Don't give me the same thing again, but with a different... Oh, I'm on sand. Oh, now I'm on grass. Oh, now I'm on water. It's just like, great, I can...
Looking at you, Assassin's Creed.
yeah, exactly. That's it. But they learned from that. They realised, okay, we have the potential to churn out quantity of a reasonable quality, but how about we drop that down and release an Assassin's Creed game every 2 or 3 years with a much higher quality? And that's why we've started to see like Odyssey Origins, Valhalla, all taking noticeable steps forward and being just more succinct, not having to like run off track and so on. And yeah, like you say, Capcom been releasing bangers, says Enix in the chat, absolutely. But that's because they've been focusing on quality, not quantity. So yeah, maybe Rockstar are happy in the fact that Take-Two are happy in the fact that they can do both. They will have Rockstar focusing on the quantity, and then they can just get the volume out through other subsidiaries like 2K, where they have multiple teams. Because I mean, I'm not the thing there as well is they have completely different setups. So they have teams working specifically on sports games, teams working specifically on action adventure games, and so on. So yeah, they've clearly got the capacity to run through that. I mean, actually, I'll take that back. Ubisoft will have capacity. They've got so many. I mean, what was it? 15 studios involved on Assassin's Creed Valhalla. So yeah. Okay. Well, let's hope it doesn't drag it down then, because 93 titles in 5 years is a lot of games. DMAC, good morning. Thanks for the host. Much appreciated. Morning, fellas. How's it going? Yeah, me and Bib have just taken part in National Wear Your Ice Cream Uploads jersey to work day, but don't wear anything from the waist down, so we're not going to be standing up on the stream. So, like, we're letting it all hang out. That's what it is. Supposedly, GT7 just been leaked by a cockpit manufacturer. They said it was a mistake, but yeah, doubt it. As in Gran Turismo 7? Was there a Gran Turismo 6? I don't know.
Was that Gran Turismo Sport? Was that the latest one? I feel like that's been out forever. Gran Turismo Sport.
We did have a Gran Turismo. GT Sport was 6. Okay, yeah. We got them in from
2017.
We got them in from lovely friends at Sony, but as I've said many times before, I'm not a racing game fan anymore. So. What was it? There was a Gran Turismo. I remember it now. Gran Turismo PS4.
I do see a lot of people on my timeline still playing Gran Turismo, and they're all trying to beat each other's lap times. I can't remember the last time I actually properly played a Gran Turismo bar the ones that I played at Arcade Club, but I do fancy playing it at some point.
What, Gran Turismo?
Yeah, I don't know what it is about it. I think it might just be my affinity with Gran Turismo, because I just always put it down to I got my PS2 and I got Gran Turismo Sport, Gran Turismo 3 A-Spec with it, and I just remember ploughing hours and hours into that with my granddad as we were trying to get our licenses and stuff like that. It was amazing, but I don't think I've played one since. I think that was the last one I played.
Oh, I have a love-hate relationship with Gran Turismo. Because I'm going back to PS1 days when we had like Colin McRae driving around in the Subaru Impreza. We had, I mean, I keep mentioning it, always like the Tok touring cars and things like that. I played all of them in quick succession, over the top, too much. And within the middle of that was Gran Turismo. And that was such a complete change of pace because it wasn't like full action arcade racing games. It was like my first experience with a driving sim. So having to change gears, having to turn into skids and things like that to try counterbalance. Forgetting all of that though, just having to pass a test at the beginning. I was like, I want to fucking race a game. I've got to pass my A test or whatever the hell it was called. I was like, and it took me well longer than it should have done because I'd obviously never driven, didn't know how to drive, had no concept of how to drive as a 12-year-old kid or whatever I was, and just going into like hold accelerate all the way around the corner, occasionally take it off and tap brake, but then back on to accelerate. This you had to kind of like think as a driver, and it took me longer than it should do to get into it. By the time I think it was 2 or 3, I can't remember, whichever one had the Escudo Pikes Peak car that you could like unlock and basically win every race on. By the time we got to that one, I was appreciating Gran Turismo, but yeah, kind of lost me with how detailed it was.
I loved Drive Club. That was a banger of a game, which is I think now offline. You can't play it anymore or get it from the store. It's either down or it's coming down soon. That was a brilliant game. But yeah, I do fancy playing Gran Turismo at some point. I'm sure you could probably pick it up for next to nothing, but we have got it in the office, and I was at some point. In fact, I think I played it. I think I played Gran Turismo with the VR headset.
I can't remember.
Yeah, that was good. But yeah.
Just playing some Tukiden says NX for sim. I play Gran Turismo. For arcade, Forza Horizon. Gran Turismo Sport is weird with manufacturer contracts, etc. And then he says, to be honest, I shown you how to drive when I smoked you on the way home. Did ya? It's funny, it didn't look like that when you were disappearing into my rearview mirror. I'm only joking. You weren't disappearing into my rearview mirror. You were gone. Disappearing implies that you were there for longer than a few seconds. You were gone. Yeah. So bye, Jordan. Something about I was stuck behind a little old person. You were the little old person. Get out of here. Anyway, sticking with Rockstar news, let's move forward. As we have a little bit, I say Rockstar, it's not technically, well, it is Rockstar, but it's not Take-Two. So we'll stick with Rockstar news, but we'll move away from Take-Two, and we'll have, as you can see on screen, oh, no, I keep killing the wrong bits. There we go. GTA 5 has now sold 130 million copies, and Red Dead Redemption 2 has now broken over 31 million copies. So even though, I mean, Red Dead Redemption 2 has a bit of a mixed appeal. Some people like it, some people don't. Some people think in the quest for that reality edge, it's lost some of the nice stuff that made Red Dead Redemption 1 work, and it is more divisive than Red Dead Redemption, absolutely, but still 31 million copies sold for a divisive game compared to its predecessor. That is huge, so GG's. Anyway, this article written by Sherif Saed for VG247 says Take-Two has shared an update on the sales figures for its 2 biggest franchises. Excuse me 1 second.
Brilliant.
I may have just muted myself so I could burp in Bib's ears. It's fine. So Take-Two has shared an update on the sales figures for its 2 biggest franchises. Take-Two has had a record quarter thanks to microtransactions revenue across its various games, as well as good old video game sales. As it tends to do regularly, the publisher gave an update on both GTA 5 and Red Dead Redemption 2. More specifically, Take-Two confirmed that GTA 5 sales have now reached 130 million units since the game's launch in 2013. GTA 5 is now the best-selling game of the decade in the US. Interesting. I mean, one thing to discuss in a minute then is if they've got to 130 million and they've just given it away for free to potentially every PC user, as long as they've got an Epic account, could that slow things down? Because, I mean, if at that sort of pace, they could be looking at the best-selling game all time, maybe, because I know they're up thereabouts with like the likes of Tetris and Minecraft and things. We've covered that before, but yeah, interesting. Maybe they've just given up on that figure and they don't really care about it. But anyway, let's move back to the article. Revenue from GTA Online, including sales of in-game items and virtual currencies, led alongside NBA 2K. Red Dead Redemption 2, on the other hand, has climbed up to an impressive 31 million units, while Red Dead Online was a significant contributor to the company's revenue. It it didn't rank. No, actually, while Red Dead Online was a significant contributor to the company's revenue, it didn't rank as highly as GTA Online. Unsurprisingly, Take-Two pledged to continue supporting GTA Online and Red Dead Online with new content and other additions. Both games are getting new content this year. So, nothing we didn't expect. And we did touch on it in the previous article, but yeah, GTA 5 just keeps rolling on. But the bit I was touching on then is... see if I can find the... If anyone has a link to the top video game sales of all time. Best selling...
I think I sent you a video not long ago from Facebook. And it was like one of them... Do you know when it was all the range?
The infographic starts like the bar. Yeah. I did see the link, but I didn't actually click on it.
Let's see if I can find it again. Because I'm sure it was Minecraft that's remained top. It's been going for so long, and it's available on pretty much everything.
Well, I have an image
Tetris
here that looks a little bit old. There is no date stamp on it, but Tetris is at 170, Minecraft is 145, and GTA is 90. So that's obviously quite old because GTA has added an extra 40 million on since then. I wonder if is there a table list of best-selling video games.
I've just put a link in the chat.
Oh, I've got a wiki thing here, but let's check the link first. Loading Facebook.com.
Around Newton.
I did hear sirens a second ago. I mean, I'm in Salford. It's usually me. Oh, come on. Oh, wow, loud. Facebook and your chupid video player. Get out of here. Okay, let's put this on screen. So this is most sold video games from 1989 to 2019, posted by Gameology. I'll draw that volume down all the way because we don't need the volume. Look at Frogger, absolutely smashing it at the top. Super Mario Land. Bow! Bow!
The Tetris thing, the Tetris game annoys me. Don't get me wrong, I absolutely love Tetris, but the fact that they're allowed to include it in something where it's been bundled up with a console frustrates the living shit out of me. And not just that, they do it another way as well, where every single Tetris that's ever been sold as part of the Tetris family, which then gets put into this, that for me just skews everything. Like, you see there, Super Mario Land, that's one part. If you was to put all the Super Mario games together, it would probably piss on a Tetris game, but they don't, they separate them out.
I completely agree. I dislike that whatsoever. Whoever has allowed that to be included has clearly taken a big wad of cash in a brown envelope, going, yeah, okay. We need a marketing statement, so can we say best-selling game of all time? Yeah. No, I'm not sure we can. Paper. Oh, yeah, of course you can. Yeah. And like even the link that I was looking at on Wikipedia then, and it was like top of the list was Tetris with like something like 200 million or something. Oh no, it wasn't even top. I think they'd dropped it down to third. But in third, who would you say makes Tetris?
Me?
Yeah.
I mean, it was a Russian guy originally, wasn't he? But he sold it to another company. I can't remember. Is it EA that have claimed it?
Well, that's it. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I mean, I don't know who makes Tetris, and I'd have just gone, I don't know. Is it a Nintendo IP? Is it a different studio that made it for Nintendo? I don't know. EA Mobile is the company that owns it. EA Mobile is not the people that made Tetris back in 1980 something. So
it was some Russian guy. He was working for the Russian government who used to program games in his spare time, and he come across it because he used to play the board game, like the single player board game where you'd get all the little Tetris pieces and put them together. And I can't remember what the original game was called, but he liked it that much that he programmed it to do it digitally in a game. But he loved it that much that he ended up creating it, because he created it on a computer in the Russian government. They technically owned it rather than him, so they managed to cut a deal where he would get royalties for the rest of his life, but he would have to sell the idea of how the game works and everything. So it was made in Russia. I can't remember who ended up getting it. I can see the logo, but I can't remember who it was. But anyway, yeah, EA have obviously since bought it, and then fusioned it with EA Mobile, which is an absolute tragedy.
Yeah, look at that. Yeah. Minecraft comes and then bang. The Black Opses and things like that are in GTA 5 comes in. Woo! But it's like Tetris's numbers. I mean, do they stop Tetris here? Are they doing it with the EA? I think it looks like they're giving it a third place. And okay, that's fine enough in the fact that they're not giving it the top spot, because it doesn't deserve the top spot. It's a completely different concept. Can you guess? I didn't even know that they were doing one. Have they had those horrible narrative bits at the bottom all the way? PUBG, yeah, get in there.
See, in this, obviously this is quite old because this only went to July 2019, which is near enough a year old at this point. So a lot of these numbers will have gone up, barring things like Wii Fit, because no one's buying that anymore. Mario Kart Wii, obviously that will not be being sold anymore. But the likes of The Elder Scrolls, Skyrim sticking around, COD, Black Ops 2, Diablo 3, PUBG, Grand Theft Auto 5, and Minecraft. I imagine those numbers will have gone up. Maybe not Skyrim, but definitely the top three there will have definitely gone up. And I'd say Tetris as well, because they brought out a Tetris Effect, and they are just going to lump those numbers in with this Tetris as well. So I imagine the top five probably wouldn't have changed much. Top four, shall we say?
A slightly different list, but very similar. This is the wiki list, so obviously take it with a pinch, but everything has decent enough references. Minecraft passing 200 million sales, GTA 5 130 million sales, Tetris, EA Mobile 100 million sales. They have Wii Sports above PUBG though at 82.
That's unfair as well, because the Wii Sports got bundled in with the console. You couldn't actually buy it, I don't think.
Okay. And then PUBG is 60 million. So if we basically what we can take from this is that PUBG is one of the top 3 games of all time sold. If we get rid of the internet, so we get rid of Tetris, EA Mobile stuff, we get rid of Wii Sports, and PUBG's in third best selling games. So yeah, I like a top 3 game. Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, I do like GTA 5 as well, but PUBG, yeah. Which surprises.
That's weird, because I've got Tetris EA Mobile and then Tetris Nintendo. So they're counting Tetris Nintendo, the one that they used to bundle in with the console itself, and then the few of the ones that came afterwards that you'd have to buy, and then Tetris EA Mobile, just the mobile version of the game, which I think is free to play. I don't think you need to buy it. So I don't understand that one.
Yeah, okay.
Give a bit more clarification on it.
If that's the thing, if Tetris is in there and it's a free, Tetris is a developed by EA Mobile and published by okay, if Tetris is in there and it's a free-to-play game, then surely Fortnite should be up here as well then. Surely we should be having some stupid numbers on Fortnite. Bajillion users.
I could be wrong with that, but I'm fairly certain. If I was to go into the marketplace now, I'm sure I've downloaded it previously, but Tetris is free-to-play on the mobile. And now maybe this was from 10 years ago, in 14 years ago when it came out in 2006, and you had to buy it then. I don't know, because I didn't buy mobile games in 2006. I'm a loser, but I'm not that much of a loser.
No comment.
So yeah, it's having Tetris EA Mobile there. I wonder if we could get some clarification on that one, but yeah, it seems weird. But the Wii Sports again, I don't think you could actually buy Wii Sports. I got my Wii Sports with my Wii when I first got that, and it came bundled with it.
Yeah, same with ours.
I'm fairly certain it was a bundled game.
Same with ours. It's the same with, there you go, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. That's another one that came bundled with, so that's like top 10 or whatever it is, with 33 million copies sold for the Wii U/Switch. Every Switch pretty much comes with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe bundled in with it. Mine did. So I'm one of those numbers, but I didn't buy that. I bought a Switch and that came with it. So it is a bit unfair putting things like that within there, because it does juke the stats. But then again, if you're releasing a game just to get into the top 10 list of all-time games sold, and that's your aim, not to produce a good game that just sells on merit, then yeah, it's a completely different conversation. You're going about it. That's a bad tit, as Daddy Day would have said. Not every Tetris game is official, because the guy who bought the rights published it on consoles and Game Boy, but didn't realise he'd only bought the handheld rights only. Oh, okay, there you go. Minecraft Dungeon this week, actually, to be honest, put over 200 hours into Tetris 99. No, I'm joking. It's game of the year, game of the decade, game of the century for Marky Bamba. So people like it. It's not for me. I mean, I'm more inclined to play PUBG. That's all I'm going to say. I'm more inclined to play PUBG, which is a nice tangent into our next bit of news.
Yeah, I've seen the serious Sam stuff. I don't particularly. I'm not fond of the franchise. I think it's just fucking boring, if I'm being honest. But yeah, it's exclusive to Stadia, Xbox, and PS4. coming to 2021. Way to kill your game. That looks like nobody's going to be playing Serious Sam for a year.
I have no idea what that is.
It's like a wave hard game where it's just monsters after monsters and you just shoot the shit out of them.
Oh, I
don't think there's much more to it.
I had a very, very short life with wave/hard games on Black Ops, Nac Darren, or Kino Darren Toten, or whatever it was. Nac Darren Toten and Kino Darren Toten. Night of the Undead, Cinema of the Undead. Zombies, COD Zombies. That made me go, oh, this is fun, and oh my god, this is boring as fuck within about a week, so it's not for me. Anyway, back into the news. PUBG PC patch brings ranked mode and bots and nerfs the M416. Boo! Written by staff at VG247. Good.
Interesting, that one.
Nice one, staff. Absolutely nailing this article. GG. A new PUBG PC patch is now available on live servers, bringing the long-awaited ranked mode, bots, and more. The new PUBG patch released on test servers last week, but hit live servers on PC this morning. Most of the patch's biggest additions made it, but the gas can changes have been delayed. And will now arrive in a future update. You can read the full PC patch notes here, linked in the article, or else save time by sticking around on this here webpage and perusing my conveniently short summation of them. Okay, that's a weird fucking breaking the fourth wall tangent there. But first up, ranked mode is here. Now you can be extra competitive. Secondly, bots will appear on PC servers from here on out. If you're curious about what PUBG players think of that, check out how console players reacted when bots were originally added to the game. Bots will only be limited to casual modes. Ranked mode sports different rules from the core casual modes. For instance, matches will only go up to 64 players, feature increased loot and no red zone. Ranked mode supports solo, duo and trio queues across first and third person. Trio? Do you mean squad? I swear it was squad. But anyway, here are all the ranked mode rules. Ranked mode games will be randomly played on Erangel, Miramar or Sanhok. Ranked mode will operate under its own game settings. Overall increase in item loot spawns, no crossbone spawns, red zone has been removed, mortar glider has been removed, the timing and speed of the blue zone has been adjusted to increase the pace of the game. Changes to the rank rule set have been explained in a letter from developer PUBG Corp, and the patch notes also include balance changes, mostly for assault rifles, shotguns and armour, as well as a typical array of bug fixes. How can you have M416 in the top, but then not include it in detail in the bottom? What is that? Yeah, I think it's quite interesting. I've seen this. I mean, there's a lot of negativity around the bots in PUBG. I mean, if bots weren't in PUBG, then when we play PUBG on this channel, Jordan wouldn't get any kills. So they do have a necessity and a need for being there. But the ranked mode, I mean, overwhelmingly yesterday, obviously this went live yesterday, overwhelmingly the content that I saw around that, the comments, hugely positive. It's just bizarre that it's taken so long. I'll see if I can find the specific.
I think Hambino and Break both say that they enjoyed it. It's just bots galore though. They say that the pace of the circle and the loot spawns and things like that were beneficial. It was a nice experience, the best that they probably played in a while. But yeah, the bots in a ranked game, that seems skewed. Do you know what I mean? That's very odd. That's not a bit. You'd expect that in a casual game to fill up the numbers, not in the ranked mode where you're playing against people for higher prizes. I imagine. Like, what do you actually get for playing ranked mode? Do you just get eight XP points to level up? And
yeah.
Go into like bronze, silver, gold, and platinum.
Essentially, maybe? Yeah. It's kind of like it's almost a skill-based matchmaking sort of setup, but that was where PUBG initially started. So the people that have made a name for themselves and that initially got into esports teams in PUBG used to play the old ranked mode. So Break, this, and I remember like Break and this and co like that. Like I've been watching their streams and they were saying things like Break would play on the EU server. Well, EU time zones, obviously, because he's English, and he'd go like number one in the leaderboards for like competitive play in PUBG, and then he'd go to bed and he'd wake up in the morning and some unknown kid called Ninja kept leapfrogging him at the top of the board, and then he'd go to bed and then Break and leapfrog him, kind of thing, and that's where the kind of community came from. But then when obviously PUBG took off, they were like, oh well, we don't need that, we've got eyes on our game anyway, so they kind of ditched it all. So there is a lot of love for it. There we go. That's the comment. I'll put that on screen. There is a lot of love for ranked mode based on past stuff, but you see comments like this now. So those that aren't necessarily as old school in it, but are still heavily ingrained in PUBG. So Perdicate, as I hover over him, pro PUBG in-game lead, playing for Shoot to Kill PUBG. I'm pretty sure he used to play for a bigger org than Shoot to Kill, but still, Perdicate, ranked is actually so fun. Could only imagine how healthy the Western ecosystem would have been if it was added forever ago. Better late than never.
Oh, right, okay.
So ranked is actually so fun. Could only imagine how healthy the Western ecosystem would have been if it was added forever ago. Better late than never, I guess. There we go. Got there eventually. I was chatting to Bill off mic then, if you wondered why it all kind of went whoop. But so yeah, I mean, you seeing comments like that from pros and people involved in the game. The first comment in response, Brian Corrigan, SV Perfector. He's changed his name as well, so that's completely new to me. He used to be called Gen XP. He works on the PUBG dev team, and for him saying agreed, what's he agreeing to? Are the PUBG devs saying that ranked is fun, or are they saying it is late? Does he agree? And it would have been better if he had it. I don't know. But it's nice that it's there. It's nice that it is there. It is a little late, admittedly, a lot late to be fair. But yeah. If you don't want red zone stuff, because nobody apart from PUBG's teams want the red zone. If you don't want red zones within the game, and you want better loot, you wanna get your class almost instantly and stuff like that, and you just want to have a fight where it's your skills versus someone else, and you minimise the RNG, then that's what the ranked mode essentially gets you. A faster paced 64 player game where you've got circles moving fast and damage and stuff. So yeah, I haven't played it, but I'm looking forward to trying it out. It sounds decent.
Is it out on the PlayStation as well, or is it just PC for the time being?
Just PC. We've got the negative side of it. We get the bots, but not the full ranked mode.
Yeah.
Too late for ranked in PUBG, especially with the player base dying, says Enix. Not necessarily. The player base. That's the thing. I mean, using a phrase like player base dying is always horrendous. The player base isn't dying. The player base is dropping off because the game's 5 years old, as with anything. But the player base will still shit over most games. What was it you got the stats for the other day? PUBG still has an inordinate amount of players playing. Yeah. It isn't as it isn't as popular as something else that's like a CSGO or something like that. It's obviously not as popular as Fortnite, and it's probably not as popular as Warzone is right now, maybe. Mm-hmm. But it still has such a huge dedicated install base. So I wouldn't say it's too late and the player base is dying. I'd say it's too late to capitalise on the fad, the boom. That's the thing. If you like player base like that, or something like Pokemon Go, for example, a bajillion people played Pokemon Go, but everyone now thinks Pokemon Go is dead. No, Pokemon Go now has Pokemon players playing it, not the mainstream that aren't hardcore or aren't fans of it. They're just fans of new experiences. Oh, I've had my experience and I'll move on to the next one. PUBG's still at that point. But like even now, we looked at those stats the other day and it was 4th in the list. Yesterday had a new patch come out. Dr. Disrespect was back playing it again last night because of a new patch. I didn't actually see whether he had a good time or not because playing Mafia and stuff. But if he's playing it and there's a new patch yesterday, I bet if we checked those stats last night, PUBG would have been like further up the list, or maybe not further up because the ones above it are absolute mammoths, but I bet they'd have been building a bit more of a gap with those below them at least. So, yeah. I mean, I just hope that they... I think what the game needs for me now, if they've got things like multiple maps in, they're fixing loot quality, they're adding ranked mode so people can play seriously, and if they can get the bots to a decent level of skill so that if you kill them you don't lose that immersion, you've just killed an absolute potato that stands and shoots and goes left and shoots and goes right and shoots and it's dead. If they can get all of that stuff fixed and then tackle... The biggest thing for me without a PUBG 2 is, to quote Dr. Disrespect, I've had it with this fucking unathletic game. They need to make it more athletic, and that is one thing that they've said already, that they are working on their movement system. And the movement system, like, they've added vaulting so you can jump through windows and stuff like that. but it does feel a bit clunky compared to something like Apex or like Warzone, something like that. Where if you jump and you grab hold of a ledge and fly over, it's all cool because it was built for purpose. But they saw PUBG add that and then added it in. PUBG added it into something, and if something's not built for purpose, it doesn't work as well. So they're supposedly working on that, and if they bring all that so that you can little things like having a little boulder in the road that just you suddenly get stuck on and you have to weirdly jump to get over it and so on, get all that working, then that'll be the biggest thing for it. But anyway, you sound like you're going to say something.
Yeah, it's you're gonna hate me for saying this, but if they had the movement, I don't know if you actually ended up playing this in the end. I'm fairly certain Jordan would have done. But did you ever play Cuisine Royale?
No, but it was updated on my Steam last night though.
The movement in that game for me is one of the best BRs for movement. Not for everything else. I mean the shooting's okay, but I like everything else that you get in PUBG, like finding the little bits of stuff for you to tack onto your weapons. But the movement on Cuisine Royale seems a hell of a lot more fluid than it does in PUBG, and I think if they had that kind of gameplay, then it would take PUBG to the next level. Even if you didn't want to play it for long and you just wanted to get in just to see how it feels. But yeah, it's that I think for me, so who hasn't played PUBG as much, I think PUBG is the clunkiest of the battle royale games when it comes to the gameplay stuff. Yeah, it just doesn't feel very fluid.
That absolutely nails it. It's the best experience at getting your heart rate up and you're feeling invested in it. But you do that, you get that heart rate up despite the mechanics. It's not a case of the mechanics and stuff add to that. I mean, the gunplay is phenomenal, but everything around that, the running, the climbing over, the ducking over a ledge, the just going up a slope that has a little bit of a knobble in it, so you have to do that weird jump on the spot until the game realises you're trying to jump forward. It's annoying as feck. Completely agree.
Just jump into Cuisine Royale, have 1 or 2 games and just get a feel for how the game plays, because if that was in PUBG, I think for me it takes it to the next level. It would be one of the best, if not one of the best battle royale out there, because the gunplay in PUBG is by far the best I've seen. Like the bullet drop and everything is so fucking frustrating, especially for a noob like me who's trying to get used to the system. Like on Fortnite, yeah, there is bullet drop, but it's nowhere near as bad as it is in PUBG. Like I'm trying to see people that for me it looks about 150 meters away, and I'm hitting them and it's gone flying over the red. Like I can't get used to the drop yet, but it's just a work in progress. But even if you just load up Cuisine just for 1 or 2 games just to feel it, you'll see instantly that you need that kind of movement in PUBG, because it'll just take it to the next level.
What was it that, I mean, I think Cuisine Royale have a little bit of a benefit in the fact that it was only obviously a bit of a joke, so they don't have the dev stuff that PUBG has, but it was based on a full game, wasn't it? It was like the team working on...
It was a parody.
Yeah,
it was a parody to PUBG, because they just thought, how funny would it be if PUBG if you just played?
No, I don't mean that. I mean like Cuisine Royale. It was an April Fool's. That's where it began life. But it was an April Fool's made by it's free and early access. Similar.
Skill gap in PUBG is real. That's probably why I suck at it. It says Tito. Mate, I'm the same.
I'm trying to find it, but basically. Cuisine Royale was an April Fool's. A team working on another game basically did this as their labour of love. So imagine you're working in a business and you're creating Battlefield. Let's say it was that. I don't know if it was EA or not. I can't remember who it was. It probably wasn't. But whoever it was working on a proper game. They then saw what was happening with PUBG and a pan, and they made Cuisine Royale, and it was an April Fool's joke that took off so well that they actually went, you know what, we'll release it. Whilst it is daft and completely over the top, it was based on good mechanics, so it is clunky and stuff like that in its own way because it's not fully developed, but they have brought through some good stuff through from it. I'm trying to look here, but I can't see. But yeah, have a look for yourself. Gaijin Entertainment, that's the company that makes it. But what were they working on? I don't know. There you go. Gaijin Entertainment has announced that its April Fool's Day event called Cuisine Royale has been turned into its own standalone game. But I don't know what they were working on initially, but they basically took the mechanics out of stuff that they were working on to create this video of that was an April Fool's stuff. But it took off and went so far that people actually like, yeah, okay, well let's turn this in. The crowd want it. Let's do it. So yeah, Gaijin then turned into something real. But yeah, PUBG didn't have that. They started from ground up, and you can tell the one thing that still is clunky as crap is the the movements and those sort of like what was the word, mechanics, that was the word you used, the mechanics of the movements, things like that, is so clunky. If they update that and they make that so much better, like me and Jordan were playing the other day on stream, and there was a patch of snow, and we hit it and stopped dead in our vehicle, like we just crashed into a wall, and it probably wasn't even as high as the front bumper, but we hit it and stopped. Whereas on COD, there's a little bit of a mountain in front of you, and you just drive over it because the game realizes that it's not about that level of realism in terms of, oh, you have to stop on the mountain. It's about, no, the realism is the mountain is cover that provides you, that's feature of the landscape that isn't a feature of the gameplay kind of thing. And as soon as they fix that, then yeah. But yeah, back to Bibbs' readout of Tito's comment. Skill gap in PUBG is real. That's why I probably suck at it. 40 minutes looting, 30 seconds to die with full kit. 47. Warzone, I can get 7 kills a game and finish top 5 most games. I think it's. I mean, there's 2 elements. I mean, the bit I keep saying to Bib is playing it and getting used to it. But the other bit is there's 2 parts to that. The first bit is getting used to how to shoot, getting used to manage the recoil and figuring out what gun works for you, and try get to the point of having the same kit. So if you use an M4 with a vert grip, boom, that's it. Get used to using that kind of thing. That's one bit. But then the other bit is learning rotations and stuff, so when the circles are locking in and how to go there. But yeah, absolutely, so many times I've won a game where I've gone in being daft, just trying to tick off a daily mission or something, and then other times I've gone in with the mindset of, I'm going to try hard, I'm going to get myself fully looted, I'm going to get 7 first aid kits, level 3 armor, I'm going to loot a crate, I'm going to be walking around with an arm and a grozer, and then just get melted anyway. So but that's the RNG, that's where the risk reward, I think that's where the benefit from playing it comes from. But anyway, Jordan says, ha ha, that was fun. I'm guessing that was the tree in the road. But anyway, one final article before we jump into some Masters of the League content. We know that's why you're all here. We haven't mentioned it yet, but we are going to stream after this stream straight into Masters of the League, which is our modern Master League playthrough with green screen effects and all the rest of the majesty that you'd expect from an Ice Cream Upload stream. But before we jump into that, one final bit of news. And it's that Doom Eternal will ditch Denuvo Anti-Cheat in its next update. Written by Andy Chalk for PC Gamer, Marty Stratton said players aren't happy, so id is going back to the drawing board. Last week, Doom Eternal got its first post-release update, which among other things included the addition of Denuvo Anti-Cheat. It's not the same as the hated Denuvo Anti-Tamper. It's designed to prevent cheating in online games, not piracy, but the reaction was powerfully negative nonetheless. Spurred by that blowback, executive producer Marty Stratton announced on Reddit today that id Software will remove the anti-cheat software in the next Doom Eternal update on PC. Despite our best intentions, feedback from players has made it clear that we must re-evaluate our approach to anti-cheat integration, he wrote. With that, we will be removing the anti-cheat technology from the game in our next PC update. As we examine any future of anti-cheat in Doom Eternal, at a minimum, we must consider giving campaign-only players the ability to play without anti-cheat software installed, as well as ensure the overall timing of any anti-cheat integration better aligns with player expectations around clear initiatives like ranked or competitive play, where demand for anti-cheat is far greater. Stratton said that the decision to add Denuvo Anti-Cheat was entirely id's, and that speculation that parent company Bethesda forced the matter is simply untrue. He also emphasised that removing it is not a reflection of problems with Denuvo, saying that performance and stability issues that have cropped up following the release of the update are unrelated. Through our investigation, we discovered and have fixed several crashes in our code related to customisable skins. We were also able to identify fix a number of other memory-related crashes that should improve overall stability for players. All of these fixes will be in our next PC update, he wrote. PC performance issues, he added, are based on a code change we made around VRAM allocation and will also be reverted in the next update. A rollout for the next Doom Eternal PC update hasn't been set, but Stratton said that id hopes to have it live within a week. So there we go. Blue Ice Cream 7, what a name. So I don't know what it is about that name that I find so appealing, but yeah, welcome Blue Ice Cream from everyone at Ice Cream Uploads. That's all I'm saying. Hello there. How the devil are you? Welcome to the stream. Welcoming. So, final news story of the day then. Doom has stripped out anti-cheat stuff. We've had a few conversations on anti-cheat and so on the last few weeks. What do you make of this, Bib?
I can't believe they've caved into it, if I'm being honest. I thought we'd got past this with the privacy stuff, but clearly they haven't, and I can't believe that they've caved into it. I understand why they're doing it, because they don't want people to think that they're having their PCs and all their details on the PC scraped for everything else. But it, if you're playing a game, if you're installing a game that requires to play online, you're giving up. You're not giving up your identity, but you're giving away your credentials to be able to play that online. Your intentions should be pure. Otherwise, this shit wouldn't have ever happened. It's happened in 3 games now. Is it Warzone, Valorant, and now this? But this is being rolled back. Like, the reason this shit is going on in the first place is because people can't be trusted to play online without cheating. Now, if your intention was pure to go online, this shit wouldn't have ever happened. But if you want to play a game online, you should expect this from now on and not be a little bitch about it, because you're not getting. They're not going to go through your entire PC and find pictures of you and your gran or something like that. I don't know, but
we found a picture of Bibby with a United top that says "Mean" on it. We're gonna have to post it because he's not really a City fan.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's very, very odd. Like, what have you got on your PC that you don't want people to find? But they're not going to go through your documents or anything like that. Um, it's looking for exe files that are going to be running alongside the game for you to be able to shoot from a million miles away or shoot through walls and stuff like that.
Have no recoil or
yeah, they're looking for cheats. They're not looking to go through all your privacy stuff. And I understand that you don't want anyone to have the potential to be able to look into that, but they aren't going to do that. I don't think their script enables them to be able to do that. It'll be a small line of code that looks for particular exe files or something that will be running at the same time. I don't understand it. If you want to play a game online and you know full well as good, because the people who complain about it, usually they're either the people who are doing the cheating or the people who are going to be the first to claim that they're being cheated, either lag cheated or shot through walls or whatever it could be. They're the people that have been complaining, asking the company to do something about it. They've done something about it, and now because you think that they're going to be looking and snooping through your texts or your WhatsApps or your emails and stuff like that, that then becomes a problem. That is not going to be the case. It'll be a small snippet of code that runs to make sure there's no dodgy exe wall hack files running alongside the game. I don't see the problem in it. Yeah. They can do it like it, because I know well when I'm going to be going online, I'm running at a reduced risk of being cheated out of a game. That for me is great, because I know full well if I'm playing online, there is going to be some people who will do absolutely anything to win the game. I mean, that includes cheating. So having that running alongside it for me is great, and I can't believe that they caved in.
It's bizarre. I mean, it's funny how people piss and moan about, there's so many cheats in this game. And then you add an anti-cheat setup, and it's like, I've got an anti-cheat setup in this game. It's like, what the fuck do you want?
Do everything, but do absolutely nothing at the same time. People annoy me, man.
It's complete baffling. I mean, the fact that yes, the PC can crunch through all their codes and not code, their technology, their anti-cheat stuff, put that up on your PC, technically could look at all your files. That's what it should be doing. It should scan through and go, is this malicious? No. He doesn't go, I actually know where Bibby was on Tuesday. Oh, he didn't tell anyone. I mean, it's not anything malicious. He was just at his nan's, but I know that information. And it's like, and? Do you genuinely think that id or Bethesda are going to be like wanting to know if you had spaghetti bolognese at your nan's or not? Or do they think they're going to be getting your personal information of where you were and who you interacted with so that they can remarket it you? I mean, that stuff does happen, but not through anti-cheat technology. That's basic cookies. Your internet does that anyway. Even if you have it turned off, there's usually ways where it happens. Other than that, they're not really going to go snooping. And I get the need to be like, I want to protect my data and myself, and it's my human rights, and I get where it comes from, and there is an element of that, but it's absolutely not being used for that. If you want to play a game online and you want it to be stable, and you don't want someone warping through your wall or shooting you through a mountain 200 meters away that you can't even see them because they're not in a clear line of sight, if you don't want that sort of stuff, then Denuvo and things like that are there to help. But then you'll start to get players that make like secondary narratives to back up their initial narrative, which is it's causing my PC to crash. Actually I don't want it because it's slowing everything down, and it's like, but it isn't. It doesn't. It's not that intensive. And even within this article, Marty Stratton says players were complaining that where is it? He had a bit where he said that it wasn't anything to do with the quality of the game. Basically, they were saying that there was some issues with the game, and the issues were based around they were adding new skin stuff in, which was causing the game to crash or not play properly. And that is why the game was crashing. It wasn't anything to do with that. But people don't care about the facts. It's like, well, I don't want it in because I'm on some like super righteous, self-righteous sort of like protest about I want my privacy kept secure. And it's not about that whatsoever. There's give and take. You can't get an omelette without breaking an egg. And yes, technically they could access your files, but they absolutely aren't doing that. The reason they are accessing files is so that they can ensure that everything is valid and clear online. That's the omelette. The omelette is the cheat-free system online, the cheat-free games online. The only way that you can get to that omelette is to break the eggs of installing software that you think will be reading all of your stuff. That's the egg. It's not reading your stuff. Break that egg and you get the omelette. Go through that and you get to the holy grail at the end of it. And it's baffling that people are doing that. It's the same sort of conversations of people going, no, Epic Games should die because it's another launcher. And you are getting self-righteous about some minor inconvenience that you will, if you just embrace, you won't even realise. But it's just one of those things where the internet gets pissy and moany, and then the world has to change to suit a flawed narrative. I want cheat-free games, but I don't want anti-cheat stuff that I don't have to activate, that just runs silently in the background and doesn't do anything. Okay. I don't want Steam to have a monopoly and control the pricing systems of PC gaming almost entirely, but I don't want another storefront either. Well, okay, this new storefront that's giving you GTA for free. Oh, okay, yeah, I like it now because it's giving me GTA for free. Yeah, but what weren't you talking about? Some sort of like anti-competition or not being there for the people or undercutting revenues for developers? You were going down that line. Yeah, I know I was trying to sound like I cared about the developers, but now we've got GTA for free. So yeah, Epic Games rules. so yeah. As Asim says, I did chuckle when he put it in the chat a minute ago, but Asim says, what could you have on your PC that you don't want people seeing? And Asim says, prawn. a little bit of pound. Yeah, maybe. David says, from what I can Google, War Thunder is the game cuisine, was the April Fool's spin-off from Arcade. There we go. So yeah, like I said, I knew it wasn't Battlefield, but they had a war game that they kind of took the mechanics and stuff from. But yeah, PUBG. Just have a word. Actually, do you know what? That Lumen in the Land of Nanite Unreal preview that we saw, one of the things within that, there's a scene where the main character walks up a staircase and she kind of walks through a door, but she like plants a hand on the frame of the door while she walks through and pushes past it, and that was like dynamic. That wasn't pre-programmed. The characters just know where things like that are, so they can plant. So you get that sort of realistic movement, like an Assassin's Creed, where you walk through a crowd and you start pushing people out of the way and things like that. That sort of stuff. I mean, PUBG's made in Unreal Engine, so they need to have a bit of a chat with Epic and say, yeah, mate, I'm using your engine. Give me that sort of like character movement and modelling stuff, so that I can start, rather than just like shacking out as I'm trying to get past a little bit of a boulder in the street. I want to touch stuff as I'm walking past it. Yeah. But anyway, if I've used the word shacking out, we've clearly been on long enough. So let's end things so we can get into some Master League content. Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, we go offline usually on a Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, but I had things to do yesterday, so we've got Monday, Thursday, Friday this week where we're going to be dropping off from the scoops. The stream will end, but we will be coming straight back on with our Master League playthrough, Masters of the League. So if you want some Master League content, then feel free to get involved. Like I said, we'll go offline for 5-10 minutes or so while we reset things up, get the green screen stuff in place, but then we will jump back on, so feel free to stick around for that. But yeah, anyway, before we do disappear, Bib, and your majestic chin of strokiness and the ongoing pout at the screen,
Pouty lips. Yeah, man.
Anything you would like to add?
Yes, boss. If you do see any video game news that you deem worthy enough to be on this show, then do hit us up on Twitter, which is at We've Got Webinio, at Graham_Day, and of course at Ice Cream Uploads. We'll take your first impressions and give our first impressions on the very next show. You will also be able to find this in our Discord, which again, for the 17 millionth time, if whenever we go live, if anyone can remind me to put chat bot on, that'll be fantastic, because I am thick as fuck and I always forget to do that. So yes, you'll be able to go into our Discord, which you should be able to find on our Twitter, or if you're sticking around in the chat, you'll be able to find it in about 10 seconds. But yeah, if you can go on there, drop in your links, we'll be able to feature that in the very next show. Mr. Graham Day will be at what time tomorrow?
10 a.m.
Yeah, boy.
Ish.
Ish.
I said that last night. Me and Danielle were closing off. She's amazing. She's an amazing woman anyway, and she brings me food and looks after me and all the cool stuff that she doesn't have to do, but she does just because she's lovely. But she also clearly watches the programs and gets involved in the streams, because as we were ending yesterday, I was like, we will be back with the scoop tomorrow at 10 a.m. and I looked at Danielle and she went, ish. And then I went, as we ended, anyway, we're going to disappear, but for now, have a lovely evening. And Danielle went, stay frosty. Yeah! Smashed it. So, I mean, spoilers, Graham. You've just ended the stream telling people how you're going to end it as some surprise sort of way. But, you know, the emotes in the chat, I've just said it. And, yeah, see you at 10 a.m.-ish tomorrow if you're not sticking around for Masters of the League. And have yourselves a lovely day. Stay frosty.